The UFC lightweight division is on the verge of an earthquake. With Islam Makhachev stepping aside and the belt left vacant, a new king must rise, but the path to the throne is drenched in fire. On one side stands Charles Oliveira, the Brazilian assassin with a body count that stretches across an entire generation of warrior. On the other side, Ilia Topuria, the Georgian Spanish Matador, undefeated, undeterred, and unapologetically hungry for glory. This isn't just a fight, it's a declaration of who rules the most dangerous division in MMA. And when these two beasts collide, there won't be room for hesitation, only survival. Charles Oliveira doesn't need to scream for attention. His legacy speaks louder than words. A man forged in violence, tempered in heartbreak, and resurrected through dominance. He's not just a submission wizard anymore. He's a brawler with venom in his veins and chaos in his soul. Since returning to lightweight, he's carved through the division like a sharpened blade. Chandler, Poirier, Gaethje, each man walked in with confidence and left humbled, either choked out or broken by fists and knees. Charles doesn't chase the belt. He draws it back to him, like fate reeling in its chosen one. But fate has a new challenger. Ilia Topuria didn't just rise through the ranks, he tore through them. With every fight, every knockout, every moment in the cage, he's made one thing brutally clear. He's not here to play games. He's here to rewrite the rules. A former featherweight, now reborn at lightweight, El Matador has the swagger of a king and the hands of a murderer. Two legends fell before him, Volk and Max. And now he sets his sights on the man many call the most dangerous in UFC history. And Ilia? He doesn't flinch. He doesn't hesitate. He promises devastation. Ilia doesn't just talk, he predicts, and so far he's been prophetic. "I'll be the first to knock him out," he says, speaking of Oliveira. "I beat him in boxing, in chess, in everything." To some, those are just words. To others, they sound like destiny. But behind the bravado lies something more, a storm of confidence built on a foundation of violence. The kind of confidence you don't fake, the kind that's earned after trading bombs with killers and walking out untouched. But what happens when he walks into a fire that doesn't die down, that only grows hotter with each step? Oliveira has been here before. Disrespected, counted out, labeled a quitter. Fighters have mocked his losses, ignoring the monsters he's faced. But they all forget, Charles doesn't just fight back. He finishes. He finds your neck, your soul, your will, and rips it apart. His wild flurries, unpredictable clinches, slicing elbows, and knees from hell are more than techniques. They're declarations. He doesn't survive wars, he ends them. And now, with the belt dangling in front of him once more, Charles is ready to send another overconfident phenom into the abyss. The question is, can Ilia even comprehend the chaos he's walking into? This war is more than just fists and submissions. It's psychological warfare. Ilia believes he's faster, younger, more evolved. He talks of knocking Charles into another dimension. But Charles has already been there. He's walked through darkness, through losses, through nights where his dreams collapsed under the lights. And each time he came back more dangerous. Age isn't his weakness, it's his armor. At 35, he walks into every fight with the experience of 100 battles, with the knowledge of what it takes to finish a man. And if Ilia expects Charles to crumble, he's mistaken. Charles only crumbles to rise stronger. And while Ilia's rise has been meteoric, it has also been untested. At 155, featherweight killers fell at his feet, but lightweight is different. These are sharks, bigger, stronger, meaner. Oliveira isn't just a step up, he's the final boss, the one who drags you into deep waters and shows no mercy. And while Topuria's frame is compact and dense, the size difference will be real. Charles's reach, his range, and his venomous limbs are weapons that can change the trajectory of a fight in an instant. One elbow, one kick, one transition, and the mat turns into a grave. Ilia loves to start slow, to read, to time, but Charles doesn't give you that luxury. From the opening bell, he hunts, he swarms. Like a hyena on a fresh kill, he senses hesitation and turns it into panic. That's what happened to Gaethje. That's what happened to Chandler. It doesn't matter how powerful your hands are. If you can't breathe under his pressure, if you can't think in his storm, you drown. Ilia might land a shot, he might drop Charles, but the question isn't whether Charles hits the canvas, it's what happens next. And history says Charles rises from the dead. Because Oliveira is more than just a man. He's a resurrection. Over and over, we've watched him fall, only to stand again, arms raised, eyes blazing. His chin might not be granite, but his heart is carved from steel. Fighters drop him, but they don't finish him. That's where the nightmare begins. When you think you've won, only to find yourself caught in a trap you didn't see coming. A body triangle, a guillotine, a rear naked choke that feels like drowning in fire. Ilia talks about being the first to knock him out, but can he finish what others failed to? What makes this matchup even more explosive is that both men are predators. They don't wait, they hunt, they press forward. And when two apex predators meet, one has to break. Ilia thrives on momentum. Charles thrives on chaos. It's not just about skills anymore. It's about who imposes their rhythm first. Ilia wants to control the dance, but Charles doesn't dance. He brawls, he explodes, he drags you into a war you never trained for. And once you're there, there's no escape. You either fight like hell or you get exposed. That's the storm that's coming. And neither man is walking out the same. There's something haunting about watching Charles Oliveira smile before a fight. It's not the grin of a man calm before war. It's the expression of someone who's already accepted the cost, the pain, the punishment, the price. Charles walks into chaos with open arms. He sacrifices his long-term health every time he enters that octagon, and he does it for the war, for the belt, for the glory of Brazil. There's no hesitation. When he hugs his opponent before the bell, it's not sportsmanship, it's a goodbye. Because seconds later, that same man will throw hellfire with bad intentions. No forgiveness, no delay. Ilia believes his power is the equalizer, that his Georgian fists will rewrite legacy. And he may be right, because when he lands, it's not just contact, it's devastation. But that's the gamble, that's the razor's edge. If Ilia catches Charles and hesitates, he dies. If he drops him and refuses to follow, the moment slips. Charles won't give him a second chance. The canvas isn't Ilia's home. It's Charles's kingdom. Every inch of it soaked in submissions, in broken egos, in arms wrenched and throats crushed. If Ilia wants to win, he must finish Charles, decisively, mercilessly. There's no other way. Ilia may be the new breed, sharp, efficient, stripped of flash, but what he's about to face is something different, something primal, something ancient. Charles isn't just a better fighter, he's a storm system, a swirling nightmare of kicks, knees, pressure and pain. His evolution from gangly jiu-jitsu prodigy to cold-blooded finisher is one of the greatest transformations in MMA history. This isn't the same man who folded under pressure years ago. This is the Oliveira who walked through fire against killers. This is the Oliveira who took the souls of 3 former champions in under a year. Ilia's walking into a furnace. Still, the Matador is not one to fold. He's young, undefeated, and untested in ways that make him dangerous. There's a purity to his violence, a calmness in how he moves, how he measures, how he strikes. He wastes nothing. One opportunity, one slip, one mistake, and he capitalizes. That's how he beat Volkanovski. That's how he dismantled Max. And now, he wants to do the unthinkable. Send Charles Oliveira into retirement. No man has ever finished Charles with a clean knockout. Not Poirier, not Chandler, not Gaethje. Ilia believes he will be the first. That belief, that madness, is what makes him so damn dangerous. But belief without experience is just noise. And the deeper this fight goes, the louder Charles gets. He thrives in rounds 2 and 3. His rhythm becomes chaos, his shots become bombs, and when the grappling begins, it's a matter of survival. Ilia may have the credentials, a Greco-Roman base, a black belt from Georgia, but nothing can simulate the feeling of Charles Oliveira. One mistake, one slip, and you're not defending a position anymore. You're fighting your own survival instincts. That's what Ilia faces, a test of will, of grit, of soul. And that's where it gets terrifying. Because Charles doesn't rely on control, he thrives in scrambles. He welcomes mess. And Ilia, who's used to dictating the pace, might find himself drowning in transitions he's never felt before. When Charles attacks, it's not a sequence, it's a flood, a hurricane of threats. 1 second you're defending an armbar, the next your back is taken. Then the choke comes, fast, tight, final. Fighters don't lose to Charles because they're worse. They lose because they panic, because they're human. And Oliveira preys on humanity like no other lightweight alive. There's a part of Ilia that believes his time is now, that Charles is weathered, that the years, the wars, the knockdowns have cracked the Brazilian's armor. And maybe, just maybe, he's right. Maybe Charles can't take another war. Maybe that chin, which has already tasted death so many times, won't rise again. But it's a dangerous assumption, because there's one thing every opponent has learned the hard way. Charles doesn't break until the fight is over, until the lights go out, until the ref pulls him off or puts him down. That's the level Ilia must reach, total annihilation. This isn't about rankings or numbers. It's not about records. It's about proving a point to the world. For Ilia, it's about claiming greatness and killing a legend on the biggest stage. For Charles, it's about defying time, about showing that fire doesn't age, that heart doesn't crack, that greatness doesn't fade under hype. This fight isn't just for the belt, it's for identity, for legacy, for immortality. One man's dream ends in that cage. One chapter closes. The only question is, who survives long enough to write the ending? And when the cage door closes and the crowd fades into silence, only truth remains. No hype, no predictions, no past, only now. Charles Oliveira, the Brazilian storm, and Ilia Topuria, the Spanish assassin, will meet in the center of that octagon. One carrying legacy, one chasing destiny, both unwilling to step back, both ready to die for the crown. And when it's over, only one will rise from the ashes. The other, left with questions that may never find answers. Because this isn't just a title fight, this is the reckoning, and the storm is coming.